Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Shelley and I created this channel to share some of the things that I do with my family, home life, and I have got a background in health and beauty, and I just kind of thought, do you know what, I'll share some of the things that I know, maybe it will help other people, some of the things that I've experienced myself with my health. And I know that I've found it really hard sometimes to find answers on the internet, and sometimes it's nice just to get a real life perspective on something that maybe you're dealing with, and hopefully the information that I share may be useful. I do need to make sure that I get across to everybody who watches this that I am literally sharing my personal experience. I'm not qualified in sharing the specifics of this particular video, which is all about low iron ferritin or low serum ferritin. And I don't want anybody to kind of think that I'm trying to give them a diagnosis or advise people what to do. This is purely what I've done when I found out that I'd got low ferritin after a H. pylori stomach infection, and the experience that I've had with low ferritin, and also how I have managed that, because it's taken me a while. And I kind of thought I wasn't going to share anything about low iron or how to raise your low iron, your low ferritin, until I had started to raise my own, because there was no point me sharing a video on how to raise your iron if I wasn't able to do it myself. It has been a little bit of a mind boggle because I wasn't aware of some of the things that I'm going to share with you today. So I'm hoping that some of the information will be useful for you, and please share in the comments if you found this video useful. I've got my notes with me, so bear with me if I just look down, because I want to make sure that I'm sharing everything that I've written down and I don't miss anything out. I do want to kind of make sure that I get across to people that I am not a qualified physician or a GP. I literally have got no medical qualifications. It's purely my own experience, and hopefully this will help others to navigate the sometimes frustrating world of raising iron when we aren't actually taught a lot about this in general life. We have to kind of find these things out ourselves. There's an awful lot of information on the internet, and I found it so confusing, and I just wanted to kind of get everything into one video, and hopefully this will help other people. So low iron, low ferritin, I just wanted to sort of clarify that this particular video, I had low ferritin, low serum ferritin, not low hemoglobin. So I don't know how others have managed to raise their hemoglobin, because my hemoglobin was fine. It was my ferritin level, my iron stores that were low. And one of the reasons why my ferritin was low was because I had an underlying H. pylori stomach infection, which I didn't know about. That's one of the reasons why your iron can be low. Other reasons can include digestive issues, absorption issues, low stomach acid, and heavy periods. And I think there's other sort of issues as well that can cause low iron. But for me, a H. pylori stomach infection seemed to be the reason why I had low iron. And so once I had managed to find out how to deal with the H. pylori, eradicate it, and start to heal from that infection, I then had to navigate the world of trying to raise my iron levels, which is really hard when you've had a stomach infection, because your stomach is very raw and not working properly, or as well as what it probably should do. And your stomach acid levels probably aren't high enough, and you can't get them high enough while your stomach is so raw. So it's been a real catch-22 situation, and it's taken me a long time to start getting my iron stores to come up. It's been really frustrating. There's been a lot of tears and a lot of sadness along the way, because I just found that I was trying everything possible and nothing was working, and I didn't understand why. So I'll go into how I managed to get my iron levels up, and I'll also share what I take now that I've got a really sensitive stomach, and how that has really helped me to get my iron levels up nice and gently without forcing it too much. Some of the symptoms that I had, which were indicating that my iron was low, were things like palpitations, breathlessness, hair loss, very dry hair, dry skin, spooning nails, and fatigue. I had very heavy periods. If you have a womb, that's something that can happen as well, and that's something that I didn't actually realise. If your iron was low, it makes your periods even heavier. And also I felt quite cold a lot of the time. I was just very tired. And my diet was, I didn't really eat a lot of meat. I generally ate a lot of vegetables, and so I probably wasn't helping myself. I also had the H. pylori infection, which has been underlying for goodness knows how long. We never know how long we've had that particular infection for. It's not something that we can ever kind of trace back, really. And so I basically a couple of years ago started to get like quite intense symptoms, as I've just mentioned. And so I went to the doctors thinking that maybe I was entering the early stages of the menopause. And so I went to the doctors and said, I feel like I'm entering these early stages. My hormones were starting to go quite off. They were quite messed up. And so that's what I kind of thought. And I had a blood test. The doctor recommended a blood test. And I would always say to people, if you feel any symptoms, if your doctor recommends a full blood count first, then that's great, because that will indicate anything from the off. So yeah, I had a full blood count. Everything came back normal apart from my iron stores. I had low serum ferritin. And at the time it was at number 5, and that's quite low. I think that doctors in the UK will normally tell you that if your level is 10 or above, then they class that as normal. However, since kind of doing a lot of research on iron stores, I think that the better kind of level to get your iron stores to is a minimum of 30. You can have excess iron stores, which I think is it hemocrotis? I've probably butchered that word, but you basically can have too much iron in your blood, and so you can be the other way as well. But mine was extremely low, and I was absolutely shattered. And there was no indication at that particular time that I had the stomach infection. It was purely low iron that I was being treated for, and so I was put onto quite strong iron tablets. Because I had the stomach infection, that wasn't the best thing for me, because taking really strong iron tablets prescribed by the doctor, which I'd never taken anything like that before, I didn't realise that iron would actually feed the infection, and it was like an inferno in my stomach. Basically, the bacteria were having a great time. They were multiplying and basically taking over my stomach. With this high iron, and so I did struggle for a few months before I then was tested for H. pylori. The H. pylori is a whole different video, and so I did create a little mini video series on that, and you can, if you go onto my channel, find the video series on H. pylori. If you are struggling with symptoms such as anything digestive, bloating, low iron, brain fog, if you feel like your hormones are out of balance, if you've got indigestion, if you've got constipation, diarrhea, anything like that, I would watch those videos, because I was diagnosed with everything that I've just mentioned. I was diagnosed with perimenopause, I was diagnosed with SIBO, IBS, and then I was finally diagnosed with the H. pylori. Since that's been eradicated, I don't have any of those symptoms, and so I just feel like I need to mention that, because there might be a lot of people out there who are experiencing all of those symptoms and they don't actually realise it's not a very easy infection to pick up unless you specifically ask for a test for it. So yeah, that's a whole different video series, so go back on the videos if you think you might have some of those symptoms, and then maybe that may help. Going back to the low iron, I have tried so many different irons, and it has been an ordeal. Some of them have been really strong. Some of them have made my stomach really sore. Some of them have given me pain. Some of them have made me struggle to go to the toilet. It's been so frustrating. I can't go against what doctors advise people. Not everybody has got the same digestive system, and so what works for one person isn't going to work for another. Because my digestive system was so impacted by the infection that I had, it was really hard for me to find an iron that was suitable for really sensitive stomachs. Reading a lot of reviews online, I did try quite a lot, because reading reviews, that's usually what you kind of go on when you want to buy something that you think will work. You just want to get that iron level up. And a lot of the reviews were really helpful, and I always checked the low rated reviews as well as the high rated reviews, because I wanted to make sure that I had a different perspective from different people. For me personally, I found ferrous fumarate too strong. It gave me a lot of stomach pain. It made me struggle to go to the toilet. It was really difficult tablet to take, but I do know that it's one that the doctors would recommend people to take. So if you're prescribed something, then please go with what your doctor is advising. You have a completely different body to mine, and it's probably absolutely fine for you. For me, my stomach was just far too sensitive. I think I'd just had too long where things were just quite upset in the digestive tract. So I needed something a lot more sensitive for sensitive stomachs. I tried liquid iron, which was liquid iron gluconate or glucinate. That actually burnt my stomach. I had the infection, and so it caused a lot of stomach pain, a lot of back pain, and also stomach pain, and it caused a lot of inflammation. There's another iron as well, which is called iron sulfate. I did try on iron sulfate tablets, and again, that caused me a lot of pain in various parts of my stomach, and so I had to stop taking that. One iron which I've found to prove really useful is iron bisglycinate. That one has been the best one for me. I personally take Solgar iron bisglycinate. It's called Gentle Iron, and I'll pop it in the description just so that people can have a look and see. But it is designed for sensitive stomachs. I get no problems having a little bit of food at lunchtime and then taking one of those with some orange juice. I literally cannot take anything else. I've tried so many irons. If you are like me and you have an extremely sensitive stomach, then that is a really good one to try. But I would honestly say to people, everybody's different. You have literally got so many different irons to try. Find one that suits you, and that one is the one that has worked for me. Some of the foods that I incorporated into my diet to support my iron levels were lean red meat, chicken, fish, green leafy vegetables such as broccoli, spinach, kale, rocket. I then also incorporated lentils, beans, chickpeas, quinoa, dates, and fortified cereals into my diet so that my body was able to absorb as much iron as possible to get that level up. One thing that you definitely need to do when you're having iron-rich foods is you need to have it alongside vitamin C. So things like bell peppers, oranges, orange juice, anything with vitamin C, and because that is what is going to help your body to absorb the iron. That's something that I wasn't told when I first started taking iron, which is madness. When I look now, I think that's one of the reasons why I really struggled to get my iron level up. But now every time I have iron in my diet, I will always have something with vitamin C, whether that's fortified squash, whether it's orange juice, whether it's bell peppers, whether it's anything, kiwi fruits, oranges, anything with vitamin C. I'd rather have had food than take a supplement. I did try a vitamin C supplement, and that had a bit of an adverse effect on my stomach. And so I thought, you know what, food first. I'm going to have iron-rich foods with vitamin C-rich foods together, and that seems to be doing the trick. I believe that my stomach acid was quite low because when I was eating meals, I was having some acid reflux and some heartburn and indigestion. And so I decided to start trying to chew rocket before I had my meals, about 10 to 15 minutes before. And I knew by reading a lot of information on the internet that you need to increase your stomach acid levels in order for iron to absorb. And so I would chew on some rocket, or I would have some ginger or some radish, and or some apple cider vinegar and a little bit of water through a straw to save your teeth. And I found that that was really helping. So I'd have that about 10 to 15 minutes before I ate, and then I wasn't getting any more of the acid reflux or the indigestion or anything, and it made such a difference. So I knew that that was actually helping me. And one other thing that I found was if you have coffee, tea, chocolate, green tea or milk, then those things will prevent your body from absorbing as much iron from your meals. The tea, coffee, chocolate, green tea, they all contain tannins, and the milk contains calcium. So even yogurt, I would avoid those kinds of foods for around 1 to 2 hours before and after having iron, because that will block your body from absorbing as much iron. And obviously we want to make sure we're absorbing as much as we possibly can if our iron levels are low. If you aren't sure if your iron levels are low or high, please go and get a blood test from the doctor before taking iron, because it can be quite toxic for the body to take iron if you don't need it. I always make sure that I get tested before I start taking anything, because you just don't know if you're doing something right or wrong, and it could cause more damage than good if you take something without getting it checked out properly first. You can see a functional medicine doctor or a GP, and they will always make sure that they get your levels checked before you start taking something. A really useful thing that I learned from a functional medicine doctor was that if you're taking a high iron, then it's probably better to take it every other day, every 48 hours instead of every day, because our bodies can only absorb so much iron per day before a chemical is released from the liver called hepcidin, and that chemical will basically block any more iron from being absorbed into the body. And I also learned that a lot of the digestive symptoms that we get is because we've got unabsorbed iron floating around in the gut, which is going to be toxic and probably causing some more problems, and definitely causing some of these digestive symptoms that we get. So I've started to take my iron. I take 120 milligram capsule of Solgar iron bisglycinate every other lunchtime, and I always take it with some vitamin C, away from tea, coffee, milk, yogurts, chocolate. And I have now got an iron level which is coming up. I will only continue to take iron whilst I need to, and I will continue to get tested every 3 months on the recommendation of my doctor until my iron level is at an acceptable level. Because as I said, it can be very toxic, and some of the symptoms and side effects that I was getting when I was taking iron every day, or when I was taking an iron that wasn't suiting me, were awful. I was feeling really horrible. I wasn't able to get out of bed. I was more tired, taking too much iron. And so it definitely is worth trying to test different irons, definitely taking it every other day. Try not to take too much because it's very toxic in high doses, and just making sure that you do what's right for your body. And this information is only what I've done. I am really hopeful that it's helped somebody, but it can be such a minefield. We're all so different. Our genetic makeup is so different. Our digestive systems are so different. And what one person says works for them won't work for somebody else. You might find that something works for you that I've tried that made me feel really horrible. But that's what these kind of videos are really useful for, because I think if we all kind of have experiences and we want to share them, then it's always going to benefit somebody who's watching, who's really struggling. And so if you've tested and tried as much as you can, and you're watching this and you think, I haven't tried that, I'm going to give it a whirl, then I really hope it works for you. But this is what's worked for me. I feel so much better in myself. The stomach infection has gone. I'm healing. I'm taking an iron that I can take without having any side effects or anything. And I can now live a pretty normal life. I'll be glad when I'm not taking iron at all. And I'll probably, once I'm at a normal level that my doctor is happy with, I'll probably only take it every month for a couple of days if I need to. But I definitely think it's worth getting checked before taking anything, just to be on the safe side. And obviously you don't want to cause any more damage or any more harm. And I really, really hope that if you are struggling with your low iron, that this has been useful for you. I hope that this will help you in some way. If it has, please share in the comments. I am intending on sharing some more videos on things that I've experienced health-wise, but also things that I've learnt in my studies over the last sort of 20 odd years or so. And so please stick around if you're interested, and hopefully I will see you again very, very soon. Thank you for watching.